You're listening to the Bored to Death Bingecast, talking TV shows and movies in easily digestible chunks. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to the Bored to Death Bingecast. I am Jay, being joined by
Zeke,
Sam,
Chris. He's off work!
Yes, Chris is finally back.
I'm starting to notice a pattern with my schedule. Is I think I'm just going to join in every other episode.
This is like 3 episodes later for you.
Well, do we count the first one because they aired the first 2 episodes together, like on the same day?
I consider that, it's like 3 episodes later in terms of when we've been doing this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. The Peanut Gallery is also here. She'll join in if she feels like it. There she is. So we are back for WandaVision, episode 6, and where we left off, shit's getting real.
We saw a very pissed off Wanda actually walk out of her bubble.
Walk out of sitcom land.
Literally walked out of her bubble.
Walked out of sitcom land to basically say, "Get off my lawn."
I do like the fact that apparently, I did not notice this, but it was the same hand movement that Magneto did.
She is his daughter, supposedly.
To spin the guns around.
Supposedly there was a reference to Magneto in the last episode.
Could it be the fact that when all the guns went, you!
That could have been it.
So, she left her safe space?
Yes.
Oh.
And she almost triggered on that guy.
There's something I want to say, but I know for a fact that somebody might get triggered from it.
Go ahead and do it.
Brie Larson, you need to do the same thing.
Oof. Oof. I don't really have too much of a problem with Brie Larson. She made some bad calls in what she decided to say in defense of her movie. At least she's not saying, comparing the hatred she's gotten to being persecuted by Nazis, like somebody else that got fired from Disney recently. Yeah. Gina, we're talking about you.
John, don't worry about those rewrites.
Yep.
I'm just confused by all the everybody being fired and everything like that. Like, I don't know much about that one, but I'm more the Flash guy. Like, hey, this guy got fired for racist comments 20 years ago.
Well,
this is the thing. If you post something on the internet, it's there forever. So think carefully about what you post.
Well, James Gunn got fired and then rehired.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know why?
Backlash.
Big time backlash.
Like, I remember Dave Bautista saying that he was going... If James' script wasn't being used for Guardians 3, he was going to walk.
Oh, yeah. He was going to walk, and I'm pretty sure most of the actors and actresses in there were like, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to follow.
You see that big guy? He's a big guy. We're following the big guy.
But then
they would... most of us out of here anyway.
Yeah.
They probably would have used the original Guardians team we saw at the end of Volume 2.
Oh, with Sly Stallone
yes,
and all that?
Yes, they were literally the original Guardians.
Including not Michael Clark Duncan?
God, who was it? That was, what's-his-face from Dawn of the Dead.
Ving Rhames?
Yes, that was Ving Rhames.
I know, but the way the character was depicted, that would have been Michael Clark Duncan.
It would have. It totally would have.
Shit's gotten real with Wanda being all, get off my lawn, leave me and my family alone, stop shooting drones at us.
So I got to hear everybody's opinion on the ending.
Well, we
sort of... You didn't watch the last Bingecast?
Yeah.
I'm like those actors who doesn't watch his own material.
Well, you weren't in it.
You weren't in it, so why didn't you watch it then?
Or I could just sit here and ask.
This is true. I mean, it blew our minds when we were like, whoa, wait, what?
Not mine, because I unfortunately got spoiled by fucking headlines.
Yeah.
I don't trust things like that anymore, because Marvel's little thing like, hey, you remember that scene where Thor had his hammer back? That wasn't his hammer. That was Stormbreaker.
Well, yeah, they do that sort of thing in trailers all the time now to throw people off.
Also, his eye.
Yeah. So I'm half expecting them to start doing that with like media sources. Like, hey, YouTube, you want to put this thumbnail up there for us?
Oh yeah.
I mean, DC's always done it in a bad way, though. Clip scenes or stills of the Joker for Suicide Squad originally.
And now the new ones for the Snyder Cut.
People had major backlash, and they're like, oh well, they don't know what they want. Box office showed what they wanted.
But yeah, with not Pietro showing up. That's what I was calling him in the last Bingecast. It's
Well,
like, yes, he is Pietro, but he is not Wanda's
Well,
Pietro.
the thing that I was reading in terms of that is that apparently Wanda is able to reach through the multiverse.
Well, and that's the thing that we discussed last week, is that this is them introducing the multiverse properly, not like the fake multiverse they had in Far From Home.
Curse you!
Okay.
I hate that. I'm sorry. It got my. You ask anybody in this room, when I started watching the trailers for that, I was so super hyped. It's like, the multiverse, the Spideyverse, oh my god! Like,
And
it's
that-
fake, but you son of a bitch.
I don't think it was necessarily fake.
I don't think so either.
What he said,
Oh yeah, everything that Mysterio was conjuring up
the
was
multiverse isn't fake.
multiverse isn't fake. Mysterio and his claims about the multiverse, that's what's fake.
Here's the thing. This was all planned.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out there to see if people are interested in a multiverse, if they would grasp a multiverse theory.
Yep.
Go out there, put their feelers out there, see what people are saying online.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people are liking this. We're going to set up Phase 4 now.
I think they had the idea to do the multiverse in Phase 4 well before they decided to float the idea out there.
I agree, but only to a certain extent that they do not make big risks.
This is
At
fair.
all.
This is fair. But yeah, we were basically
People
saying
didn't like the new Star Wars trilogy because it wasn't...
because Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, not just that, but you also had Ryan Johnson.
It was too safe.
No, in terms of, like, if you go and you listen to what Mark Hamill had to say about Ryan Johnson alone from Last Jedi, he does not like Ryan Johnson at all.
Well, there was a lot that went wrong with the sequel trilogy. We
Well,
don't
the
need to
thing
get
is-
into. We don't need to get into that.
The
right
point
here,
I was
but
making
yes.
is, like, a lot of people didn't like the first new one because it was too safe.
It was
Too much of the same.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't want to ruin these properties in the sense of we can't make more of these.
Right.
So
This is
do
the cash
safe
cow
bets.
that's keeping us going.
Safe.
these days.
That's why a lot of the movies stay in this safe bubble, this safe
The formula.
The
area,
formula.
the Marvel formula.
And I
But-
could see that with them. It's
Because
like,
the multiverse, that's outside of safety zones.
And Sony threw that out there, and then Marvel was like, holy
yes,
shit.
when Spider-Verse got
That's
praised.
the other thing. They're like, okay, well, Spider-Verse people can
Well,
grasp
that's-
it, but
that's-
animated. That's them.
And that's Sony. That's Sony not playing
I mean,
ball.
I remember in the Ultimate Universe in the comics, this was after Miles... Who was it? No, it wasn't Miles Morales. It was still when Peter Parker was still alive before they killed him off. And this is when, after they introduced Mysterio into the Ultimate Universe, where you find out later on that their Mysterio is the mainstream Mysterio.
616 Mysterio.
Controlling that Mysterio because he discovered the Ultimate Universe, so he used like a robot body that had the misty head. It wasn't the globe, the fishbowl head. When Tony Stark when it was Iron Man and Spider-Man taking on Mysterio, he actually reached into the suit and yanked out like the device inside of it that Mysterio was using to control it. And Peter was like, "How did you know about that?" He goes, "I see technology. I know technology." So he figured out that what it was. And then when the mainstream Peter Parker ended up in the Ultimate Universe, that's when they also discovered that that's how they discovered that the main fishbowl Mysterio was controlling that Mysterio.
Okay.
Wait, I wonder if that Iron Man had the ability, because I think the main canon Iron Man has the Technopath ability now.
I don't know if it was
I don't-
Technopath so much as that he has nanites in him that just sort of let him do that stuff.
Well, the Ultimate Universe version has nanites in him.
I know that. I'm just saying,
the
mainstream
mainstream
one I think does have some form of extremis.
Honestly, I don't really know because I haven't read the modern Marvel universe in so long because
same.
I got lost in it after a while, and when I tried looking it up, I was just really confused.
Yes.
Like, why does Beast look more like a cat now?
because cats are popular.
I understand. No, well, I understand that his mutation is supposed to be evolving over time, and that he's supposed to be becoming more beast-like.
Yeah.
When he's retaining his intelligence.
Right.
So I understand that. And then there was the...
I like that he was more of an ape or gorilla or some kind of simian.
Well, that's before he became blue.
Mm.
I'm blue.
But then he became blue. You still like that in the animated?
At any rate, last week when we were discussing not Pietro showing up in the multiverse, it was like that we think is the MacGuffin for Phase 4.
But my reaction to when Evan Peters' Pietro showed up, I was like,
yeah.
Well, it makes sense because of what you said in a tweet earlier. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
That makes sense for
Well,
me.
that wasn't even me. Yes, I saw this theory floated out there that the reason that Evan Peters' Quicksilver was pulled into this by whatever reality warping is going on inside the Hex is because Evan Peters' Quicksilver is from the 80s.
Yeah.
That's the time period he was living in, so it just reached out and grabbed the nearest one that it could. It couldn't get Aaron Taylor Johnson's because he wasn't born
You
yet.
also got a problem. Isn't... Like, what was it? Phoenix, the 90s?
Dark Phoenix was in the 90s, where Apocalypse was 80s, and I think it was...
Just their way of retconning Dark Phoenix.
I mean, there's gonna be kind of retconning a lot of shit with however they're gonna incorporate.
So does this
the
mean
Fox
that,
properties.
So does this mean we're gonna have Michael Fassbender's Magneto pop up?
I wouldn't be averse to that.
I wish my dad was here. Ding dong.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Who are you? You're not my real dad." It's like, no, he is your real dad. You were just adopted.
Which is true in the comics.
Yes.
Because after they introduced Wanda and Pietro in the MCU, in the comics they confirmed that they are adopted. Magneto's only true child is Polaris.
Because she has the same powers.
Literally the exact same powers.
But at any rate, I mean, if they do go that route with them incorporating aspects of the Fox properties into the MCU, that'd be interesting.
So which version of Nightcrawler do we want? Do we want X-Men 2 Nightcrawler, or do we want X-Men Apocalypse Nightcrawler?
X-Men 2.
I would say X-Men 2.
Or a combination of both.
X-Men 2's Nightcrawler was able to get into the White House and came within inches of killing the president.
Yeah, still he got shot.
Well, that snapped him out of his brainwashing, but it's still, he was way more badass there than he was in.
I also
than he was
really
in
like
later
his
ones.
accent.
Yeah, but in the Munich circus, it was known as the Incredible Nightcrawler.
And then Wolverine tells him, "Stow it."
God, Wolverine, that's another thing. It's like, how are they going to incorporate?
already
I still
recast
want to go
Wolverine?
with Hugh
What?
Jackman's original choice for his replacement as Wolverine. Zeke's gonna hate me for saying this.
I got face phone ready. Let's do this.
Not while I'm holding this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm eating a bowl of Korean noodles as we're doing this.
I will get the shop back. It'll be fine.
But anyways, Hugh Jackman's original choice for his replacement was Tom Hardy. And then the fan art, and then the fan art came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Yes.
With him with the cigar, the
Tom
facial
Hardy
hair,
is a fantastic actor.
I'm confused on why I'm going to hate this.
because he's playing who?
It doesn't mean he can't do both.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, it does. It definitely means he can't do both.
If there's too much crossover with the Sony properties,
That's never going to happen. Marvel's never going to play nice enough with Sony to go, hey, let's put Venom
it's
in
not
the
so much that
no,
Marvel's
it's
not playing
Sony.
nice with Sony, as so much that Sony isn't playing nice with Marvel.
Both companies aren't playing nice. They're like,
No. The way they did it, if you look at the breakdown of how they made the first agreement, Sony was making out like a fucking bandit. They were getting 80% or so of Homecoming.
Mhm.
And then
Kevin Feige worked for free.
yeah, Kevin Feige worked for free to make that a successful movie. Then when they tried to rework the next deal, Sony's like, oh, we kind of want more percentage. And Disney's like, yo, we did you all a favor. We fixed your jacked universe.
Yeah, it's like we gave you a new Spider-Man
They didn't even
that
want-
people really, really liked.
And the new rearrangement, the arrangement was, okay, well, we need 40% and Feige needs to get some money.
It's like
They were
you're
like-
still getting the majority, but we want a little bit more because You're playing in our sandbox.
So
it's
it's
your toys, but you're playing in our sandbox.
That's our property. No go. What? You want more? No, we want to keep it the same. Hell no. So they were like, okay, we're going to do our own thing.
Yep.
And then they were like, no, we might have to renegotiate that.
But then Tom Holland showed up and said, guys, come on. We can work this out. Which did happen.
Yep.
Mommy, Daddy, can we please stop fighting? Think of the children!
Think of the fans.
For the children. But yeah.
Fans that want to continue seeing a amazing, and first time I've seen out of all the different Spider-Man Peter Parker iterations, a great Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man in the same person.
Yes.
I just
The
want
other
to
Maguire
get past 3.
Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker.
Not a very good Spider-Man.
He was a good Spider-Man, but not a great Spider-Man.
Well, he had one? Because I know that Spider-Man's known for his
Quips.
one-liners, his quips. He had one?
The
And that was against Green Goblin.
He's the quippy flipper.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it? Andrew Garfield. Really, really good Spider-Man.
Not so great as a Peter Parker.
Parker, he had no difference between him in the costume or out of the costume.
He was an edgy skater, Peter Parker.
He was a bully.
He was a genius. He just wasn't a very good genius. And I know that after Uncle Ben died, it hit him really, really hard. Probably harder than what Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker had.
You know, another thing that made the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies better?
Huh.
We get an excuse on why he has the costume.
Oh.
Yeah, how does Tobey Maguire, as a Peter Parker boy, make that amazing frickin' suit? All the ridges and all the cool shit. What tailor made that?
Yeah.
And then for Andrew Garfield's first one, it was literally made by the people from Cirque du Soleil. They actually made the first one. The second one was designed off of...
I'm just saying, in universe.
Yeah,
Who
I
the
know.
fuck made him?
I know.
There's the small things in life that drive Sam up the wall.
I mean, you think about it, like, okay, Tony Stark gave him that. It's all the techie one. It's the new modern one. Awesome. Tease Iron Spider. I hate you.
I like more of the old school threads that he had over the tech suit.
Oh, you're talking about the hoodie?
The hoodie with the glasses when he started fighting Ultron. That was my favorite suit so far.
Made in my closet in my aunt's apartment.
I always like that because that's realistic.
Yes.
Yeah,
If you reverse the colors, he's Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
I'm sure you know that was 100% intentional.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a whole lot to unpack with all this.
I went a little off base on Spider-Man.
That's fine.
Spider-Man does somehow tie in with
Multiverse
WandaVision.
of Madness coming up.
Well, not just Multiverse of Madness. Homecoming 3.
Homecoming 3 is supposed to have to do with the Multiverse of Madness. So hopefully things stay in line, and apparently we're getting Falcon Winter Soldier sooner than we think.
Yeah.
Well, I think our little theory on that is that it's supposed to tie in with Black Widow.
Yeah.
But there's probably we're getting it sooner than that.
Are we?
They still want to do Black Widow as a theatrical release.
Well, yeah.
And that's if I remember correctly, it's October or
I
fall.
wonder if they're going to try to pull that BS again. It's like, hey, it's not our fault. It's the actor's fault. It's something in the contract that makes it so we can't stream the stuff.
No, the thing they pulled with that was the theater rights.
Oh, yeah.
Was it theater rights?
Yep.
It's always going to come down to something like that.
It's the agreement between the theatrical releases and the home releases.
I'm wondering, now, getting back to WandaVision, I'm wondering what...
Is that what this is about?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
we're doing a
Ramblecast.
Yeah, we were starting the Ramblecast there. We're almost 20 minutes in, but let's get back to talking about what we think we're going to see in this upcoming episode. We haven't even pulled it up in Disney Plus just
Are
yet.
we going to see Quicksilver in his green 1970s Golden Age costume?
Probably not, because we're in the 80s.
Unless it time skips into the 90s.
unless it does that.
Which would be funny, because if it time skips into the 90s and it brings back the other Quicksilver.
I doubt
That would be weird.
That would be weird. Suddenly,
What
Aaron Taylor
about
Johnson
him?
shows up. Peanut Gallery just showed a meme of the guy posing on a during a funeral on somebody's grave. Grave says Pietro. Guy posing says Pietro. Anyway, I'm wondering what's going on with director douchebag with sword. I can't remember the character's name. Harwood or something like that. The guy that tried to kill Wanda.
The guy that wants to weaponize Wanda.
Well, wanted to weaponize Vision at the very least.
Well, that. Yeah.
You know, it'd be funny if he turns out to be what's his face, Bolivar Trask.
Might be interesting. There's all sorts. We floated a couple theories that he's either like ex-Hydra or maybe he's AIM.
He's the clone of the director from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Are we talking about the guy who took over after Coulson stepped down?
And he was a metahuman, yes.
Oh, yeah. No, he was an Inhuman.
Oh, he was Inhuman, correct. We haven't had Meta at the time.
Yeah, metahuman, that's DC.
Yes.
In the MCU, it's either enhanced or inhuman. Or something else entirely, like with Scorch.
Or mutant until
that's the one.
Or mutant until Scarlet Witch goes no more.
No, first she has to have him in there, and then she can say no. It's like, all right, everyone, we're gonna be mutants. I'm done with these.
Well, what if instead of going no more mutants, she actually goes more mutants?
All the mutants.
Yeah, and that's how we get mutants.
Like,
and
so how'd you get your super speed power again, Pietro?
Somebody snapped their fingers.
Oh no, this Pietro. You got super speed? You're my brother, right? How'd you get him? I was born with him.
What?
No torture.
I don't think that Wanda is going to question how he got his powers, because Wanda, I think, is just happy to have a Pietro back. Even,
I just think it would be funny if she knows.
Vision might be the only one to question it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Everybody has that.
Not everybody in the town.
No, nobody has it. I don't like this. It's causing traffic jams.
Or it's like she suddenly finds she can't control them. And you can tell she has control.
I just want to see what MCU...
She has control issues.
I just want to see what MCU Apocalypse will be like.
That's like Phase 9.
The one that we had live action was not bad.
The movie was just not good.
It just wasn't as good as Days of Future Past.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna dive in now because we've been rambling for
almost 30 minutes.
For 23 minutes at this point. So we'll be back after the binge.
While the binge is happening, thanks for listening to our podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe and spread the word. You can reach us on social media on Facebook or Twitter at BTD_Bingecast. The Bored to Death Clan is part of the CKCC Radio podcast family, including J Bunny's Music Hub, the Race Nerd Podcast, Real Paranormal Talk, Ranking Tracks, Motivational Moves, Girls Who Like, and The Nerd Table. Please consider supporting CKCC Radio on Patreon. And now, the binge is done, so let's get to the discussion.
Okay. And we're back. So, interesting shit went down in this episode.
I'm just going to say, the roughly 30-ish minutes of an episode is not enough.
Yeah. It leaves you wanting more, so that you're guaranteed to tune in for next week.
Well, how many episodes are there going to be?
9.
Was it 9?
9.
Okay.
Everything I have seen says 9.
Why are you talking in German?
9! 9!
Anyway, so this was the Halloween episode that we've seen in like the trailers and promotional pictures.
The one that I've been wanting to see because I was like, I know where they're going with this one in terms of the costumes.
Yes, because we got Wanda and Vision in things approximating, or at least in his case, approximating their...
Hers was just straight up her outfit.
Their classic comic outfits. I think they explained that his was meant to be like a Mexican luchador sort of outfit.
And I think he said something like the only Spanish that he could speak was like chili con queso or some shit like that.
This was just like Mexican food, basically.
Yeah.
Which still seems to do it for her, because I got like Fish Called Wanda vibes. Oh my god, it suddenly just occurred to me. Did you ever see Fish Called Wanda?
No.
That's something for us to watch later. But they're Jamie Lee Curtis's character in A Fish Called Wanda kind of gets turned on by guys speaking foreign languages. Kevin Kline's character keeps like throwing like random Italian stuff in there, but it's literally just like dishes from like Italian restaurants. And later, when she hooks up with John Cleese's character, he speaks like Russian or some other language, but like actually speaking it, and like immediately she gets turned on by it.
The only thing I can think of is Addams Family.
Oh yeah,
Because
Morticia,
yeah.
or no, every time Morticia speaks French, it turns
vice versa.
It was.
Gomez spoke the foreign language. It turned
No. She would like throw out like Caramia, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah." He would immediately. Raul Julia did such a great job of that.
You know what that does to me.
Yeah. But
that's how they got the sequel.
And this episode was like the opening was like Malcolm in the Middle, Malcolm in the Middle.
It was very much like Malcolm in the Middle with like the really fast-paced video footage,
like home video.
Yeah,
you know, thing.
And oddly enough, the person who's carrying the camera is Speed.
Yeah.
So of course he's running around. You know, he's doing all these like random things, and it's. If you've seen Malcolm in the Middle, if you grew up watching Malcolm in the Middle, you're gonna get a lot of like vibes just off of this episode. And I said, I was like, God, please tell me that the dad, Bryan Cranston, has a cameo in this episode.
Unfortunately, he didn't, but it would have been cool if he had.
No, it'd been funny if he was one of the characters that you see in costume. You just didn't know it was him.
Oh yeah, that would be
only
good.
if he had a walk on and they didn't have to fan.
He's
No, they just do for him what they did for Brad Pitt in Deadpool 2 and
Came with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I think that's a case-by-case basis.
You know, and he could very easily have been one of the out-of-focus characters in the background, wearing some like Halloween costume.
He was the one who was just standing there in the corner watching Wanda.
Or he was like, or he was just some guy in the background as Vision was wandering through town in the midst of throwing a pizza on the roof.
Yes.
Chris gets the reference.
Yes, I do.
And we got some confirmation on a few things here. This is Pietro. It is her Pietro. He just looks different.
He regenerated. He's a Time Lord.
Because he had like all the memories of their childhood in Sokovia. We even got like a brief little like cutaway flashback.
Oh God!
Of them like trick or treating in Sokovia.
I'm trying to figure out if little Pietro, no silver hair Pietro, was supposed to be dressed up as Nick Fury because of the eye patch, but he was dressed up as the white version.
That'd be funny. Well, but then I'm like, who is she supposed to be dressed up as?
A bug.
Yeah. And they got like a pickled herring or something as a to share.
Yeah, to share. You get head, you get tail.
And meanwhile, in the background was some like Soviet car that was on fire, and you could hear gunfire in the background.
It was so wrong.
I was just like, that's probably what it was like in Sokovia in their childhood. But
I just like that she says we have different thoughts of that scenario.
You and I remember Sokovia very differently.
Yes.
The Hawkeye and
I want to see some flashback to Budapest so we find out exactly what happened.
What should not be what we think it is.
In either way, it's like they both remember it differently, and what actually happened isn't like that at all. But she was like started like grilling him as they were like going through taking the kids trick or treating.
Oh, and mind you, Pietro's Halloween costume is like
It's like classic.
It's classic
90s era. Quicksilver.
Well, yes, it was because 90s is when he was wearing blue.
Yeah.
And
Speedy and Wiccan both had their
something
similar costumes to what their traditional costumes are.
And Vision wasn't there for the trick or treating because he told Wanda, he had neighborhood watch that night. And then it turns out, nope.
Nope, investigating because he's
still suspicious about goddamn everything.
Yeah. Now
mommy and daddy are fighting. They are talking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no, they're paying their taxes. We also need to bring up the fact that Agnes only had like one scene in this whole episode, not including the intro to it,
where she was just identified as Agnes. Like Wanda was Wanda Maximoff. The Vision was the Vision. Billy Billy and Tommy were both Billy Maximoff, Tommy Maximoff,
Pietro Maximoff.
Pietro Maximoff as himself. But when Agnes was in there, she was just Agnes. No last name.
Because they never gave her a last name.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the dude from Galaxy Quest, Guy.
I don't even have a last name.
Well, no, he was just crewman number 6 in his one episode in the original Galaxy Quest. When he was recast in the remake, they actually gave him like a full on character.
Yes.
Make a Galaxy Quest 2, please.
More on that later.
Well, except Alan Rickman's dead, so.
Yeah, they can put that into the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
They just have a picture of him on the background as your cameo.
There you go. and no, like a statue, and it has a plaque on it that says, "By Grabthar's hammer, you shall be avenged," or "He shall be avenged."
But yeah, like I like how Vision walks around. Now, I know for a fact I'm pretty much the only Doctor Who fan in this room right now.
I am, but I don't have as much knowledge about the classic stuff.
Okay,
Well, no one has as much knowledge as the Welligan knowledge. Okay, we want
This is
exact
true.
example.
That's what happens when you don't start dating till your 30s. So, anyways, I'm going back to so the scene where he's walking down the street, he sees the woman putting up the decoration on the clothespin,
Or trying to,
and it's just her going back and forth and not actually doing it, and he's just like, what the hell?
and he sees
The tear.
rolling
So
down her
what
foot.
that got me thinking of was Peter Capaldi's first episode as the 12th Doctor, Deep Breath, where he and Clara are sitting in a restaurant together, and you can hear like the sound of like silverware hitting like the plates and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. I remember now, and it was all like just literally going through a pattern.
Yes, and she's like, oh, all these people are sitting there eating, and Capaldi's just sitting there and goes, are they? And then she takes a look around and notices that they're all going through the exact same types of movements. Now, granted,
bringing like the soup spoons up to their mouths, but not actually consuming it.
Yeah, and you see like the one person like cutting his food, but there's nothing actually there. So yeah, it reminded me a lot of that, and so I was like, is that supposed to be like a reference to that particular episode? Because supposedly at some point in time I think it was in Age of Ultron, the scene where they're chasing the truck on the motorcycle. At some point in time, I don't know if a fan put it there or if it's real or not, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but supposedly they drove past the TARDIS.
That would be hilarious.
But it was like the way that it was made, it was like a blink and you'll miss it type of thing.
But the vibe I got from all of the scenes that we saw of Vision wandering through town, seeing the woman putting the decoration up, and in the background the guy that's her husband like setting down like a decoration of his own, and then standing back up and picking it back up. He was going through the same thing, but the focus was primarily on her.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see that. Now there were some scenes where I was like more focused on the crap in the background, like when Sam and I both saw the dude with the hockey mask and the Freddy Krueger sweater on.
Yeah,
which
that
bothered the shit out of me. I was just about to say, I swear to God, if he had a chainsaw in his hand too, I would have lost it. I would have absolutely lost my shit. Being a huge horror movie fan and then seeing, I was like, all right, that guy's got the sweater on. I didn't see the mask at first. I was like, okay, so he's Freddy. No, you get that fucking hockey mask off. Get that shit right off of there. That don't make no sense.
Carrying around a doll that's made to look like Chucky.
All I gotta think is that one
did that on
teal.
purpose.
just to piss you off.
They did they knew it.
That one teal. Imagine how many times they had to cut takes for that. Think, okay, we're gonna put teardrops in your eyes. This guy goes just his path. Damn it! Didn't do it. Retake it.
Wipe the thing off, and then eyedropper thing to make it like slowly like trickle down. But the impression I got from all this, and I did mention this as we were watching, as he kept wandering closer to the edge of the hex.
Because what did Wanda tell Speed and
Wiccan? Don't go past Ellis Avenue. And
I was like, I know where Vision's going.
He didn't know he was going that way, but that's where he was going. But it's like the farther he got away from Town Square, where Wanda was,
yeah,
the more like the less agency anybody in town had. They were just literally going through the motions, or they were just standing there, unresponsive to everything.
Which we have to mention at this point in time. Director Douchebag has been
Hayward.
hiding shit
Hayward, yes.
with Vision being a sonar radar at this point in time.
Well, we also we're getting glimpses of stuff outside of the Hex, as Monica and Kat Dennings' character Darcy and Jimmy Woo were basically starting to raise objections to Hayward's, Director Hayward's.
And she said something
behavior.
to her that had Director Hayward go, "Do you still work for me?" She goes, "I don't know, do I?"
Well, yeah, because she pointed out, not without reason, it's just sort of like, you are picking a fight that you cannot win, based off of what she just saw happen when he and his soldiers drew guns on her, and she literally just went
went full Magneto on them.
She waved her hand in the air and spun all those guns back around on Hayward, and we saw the drone also that she had thrown out of the Hex still had like the red static all over it.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's all about.
I don't know, but I'm fairly certain that they're going to examine it. But what's her face? Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, that's true.
She was talking about going back inside, and then Kat Dennings was like, no, your DNA's been messed with."
Well, yeah, and I was getting to that. Eventually, the Monica's standing up to Hayward's behavior about all this, and he throws back in her face. It's like, it's real easy for you guys that have been returned. You don't know what it was like, trying to keep the lights on and everything, and he like throws the facts like, you'd probably be something along the lines of, you wouldn't be acting this way if you'd been here when your mother died or something along those lines. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, shoot this motherfucker in the head right now.
It's like,
Wanda!
Wanda, you should have just finished the man off and not given him that warning.
Yep. And he basically ordered Monica and anybody else that doesn't work for SWORD out of there. And
which I thought she did.
Well, they started to, the soldiers started to escort them out. Monica and Darcy and Jimmy Woo, and then Jimmy Woo and Monica basically knocked out the soldiers, stole their ponchos, and snuck back into the base and found the server room.
I can't remember. Didn't Thor do that in the first movie? In the first Thor movie, when he didn't even bother. He wasn't trying to sneak in. He just straight up fought his way past everybody. He didn't steal any. I don't think he stole any ponchos off of it. I could have sworn he did that in the first. I gotta rewatch the first Thor film.
But at any rate, they then snuck back in, found the server room where Darcy. Turns out she's got hacking skills. Hacked past Hayward's firewalls and started finding information out. Like, he had the ability to see through the Hex the whole time, and they were tracking Vision with it.
Yeah. What was Vision's little code name that they gave him?
Well, it was later when she penetrated past his firewall, she found something called Project Cataract. And this was noticed about the same time that Vision found the edge of the Hex and started trying to go through it.
Well, first he found all right.
Well,
so
I'm skipping back and forth here.
Yeah. Well, no. He does the whole what you see in the trailer where he changes from classic Vision costume to MCU Vision outfit, and he floats up, pulls a Superman, and listens to the entire town talk, and he's just like, how come I don't hear this side right here? Then he sees Agnes's car sitting there at a stop sign.
On Ellis Avenue.
Yeah, not even moving or nothing. Floats down, he's like, are you okay? And then
she just sort of doesn't react.
Yeah.
Well, no, she does, but she's still like staring ahead. She's still in character.
She's like, I was looking for Town Square. Must have made a wrong turn.
And he's like, in the town that you've lived in your whole life.
I'm still holding on to. She's got more to do with it than she was the furthest than anyone else. She was leading him to the edge.
Because she knew what to. He was going to find something.
theory on that, but I'll get to that once we're done talking about what happened in the episode. But he does the same thing to her that he did to Norm last episode, like zapped her briefly, so she came out of character, and she recognizes him. She's like, "You're an Avenger."
He's like, "What's an Avenger?"
Because again, he doesn't have any memory.
But then she starts saying,
"Am I dead?
Am I dead? No. Why? Because you're dead."
You're dead. You're dead. And
she just kept yelling "dead" at him.
Yeah. And then basically started like cackling and.
She did.
It was like more like an evil laugh. It was supposed to be like she started going crazy, kind of thing. Like all is lost, I think, is something that she was saying. And he then sort of zapped her back into Agnes mode, and she just pulled a Yui, went back.
Oh, by the way, she's dressed up as a witch the entire time, like an actual witch, not like a Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, leading more to the whole theory that she's supposed to be Agatha Harkness.
God, that'd be great.
But then Vision, after he watches her turn around and head back into town, turns around and starts walking towards the edge of the hex.
Yeah, and then he sees the field, and puts his hand through it, starts going through it.
Well, let's rewind a little bit back to Wanda and Pietro, because Pietro starts asking her questions about what's going on in town. Commenting on how she's kept couples together, kept the personalities basically the same. They have better jobs than they normally would, sort of thing. And and he says, "I'm impressed," and she's like, "You don't see anything wrong with this?" And he's like, "No." But as I said, he's got memories of their lives in Sokovia. Like she was quizzing him because she's confused about why he looks different.
Yeah.
Also, she has no control over him either.
And he remembers getting shot, and then he's like, "And then I heard you calling me."
But I was honestly trying to remember what happened to his Pietro in Dark Phoenix, because I remember
I never saw Dark Phoenix, so I've
only watched it once. But
more than
scene,
most of us have seen it.
But the scene in the movie where they were confronting Phoenix outside of Jean Grey's dad's house, he tries to do the whole like run up a bunch of objects in slow-mo bit, but then she like swats him away, and then he gets injured after that. But I can't remember if his legs were damaged as a result of that. So I started thinking of that, but I was like, I don't remember if his legs were either broken or if she like pierced them somehow.
I couldn't tell you. But we also got another moment where she glanced over at him, and he was dead, like bullet holes in his body, and I think he was even wearing his actual Quicksilver's outfit from Age of Ultron. And he was all like gray with
the shirt he was wearing.
I thought it was bullet holes in the shirt he was wearing as well.
Probably.
Turn the volume down.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute. Yeah, we're gonna pull that up right now, but I'm gonna mute this thing as soon as I can find the mute button on here.
Just hit the volume down button.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, but and she freaked out, and he's like, "What?" And when she looks back again, he's back to normal. But it was one of those like, "What?" sort of moments. And then getting back to when Vision is walking through the hex. Well, with Jimmy and Darcy and Monica was there as she's hacking in. Monica basically says she's called some friend who's bringing in her ticket back into Westview, and Darcy tries to talk her out of going back in, pointing out that it's like Hayward's got your blood work, and like she basically got like a couple doses of radiation by going through the.
And then she was like, "Oh, it's something I'll just have to live with for the rest of my life."
Yeah,
I was like, and me and Sam were both like, "Does she have powers?"
Well,
maybe she does now.
So I thought something to do with her having maybe Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel at some point.
I don't think so.
But yeah, it's just them uncovering all these hidden secrets about stuff. But Jimmy and Monica go to head out of town to link up with Monica's friend, Darcy stays behind to finish penetrating the firewalls, and that's when she finds out about Project Cataract or whatever it was. And then Vision starts coming through the hex. And it looked like it was more as he was passing through the red field that Wanda had put up on top of the hex last episode, was literally like ripping him apart.
So what? All right. So we see what.
That's the T-shirt.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, we got to the scene where we see dead Pietro, and it's it's just his outfit from this episode with bullet holes in it.
In the right spots.
In the right spots, and he's dead with the milky eyes and everything, and the gray skin.
Zombie!
Marvel zombies!
He's like, what? But
Well, I hope you
wanna...
wrap up this episode soon, because I have a theory.
Okay.
Since we're not allowed to throw theories out in the middle.
Well, it's just like...
It's just going to derail it too much.
Well, but as Vision is like falling apart outside the hex and calls for help, Wiccan hears him inside the hex, runs to Wanda, who then basically powers up and starts pushing the hex out further.
Well, he also had told his brother to stop running around like a maniac so he could listen.
And
that's when it showed, he essentially revealed his powers.
Mm-hmm. He's got something similar to his mom, just like Speedy's got Quicksilver's like Quicksilver style.
Wanda,
powers.
is there something you're not telling us? Did you really do it with Vision?
So Kat's over here and
Some really quiet.
Quicksilver also got away and woke up from a coma at the end of the film after a close call with Jean. It doesn't say anything about his injury.
Okay,
so he did survive.
Yeah, I know he survived. It's just that after that scene, you don't see him again till the end of the film.
Well, at any rate.
It just proves the Flash is better.
But, the hex starts expanding and absorbs
We're not going to start this battle right now.
It absorbs the sword base.
We've been over the overpowered god equivalents that DC has to produce. Because their villains are always higher, then they have to make their superheroes higher and go back and forth until they're all god tier.
I mean, when you practically have a god flying through space, be viable.
Yeah.
A god flying through space, not walking on land, in the sea, on another island, in the air, in the air, in the air, in the air. His own planet.
We're talking about Thor, right?
I'm talking about all this shit in DC that is god level.
Yeah.
And that's just the Justice League.
I had to poke the Sam just to get him wound up a little bit.
Good job.
Good job. They can't finish their episode enough, and I can't say my theory.
Okay.
You have to round me up about DC's bullshit excuse for superheroes.
To summarize, the hex starts expanding. Most of the sword base gets absorbed. Well, the entire sword base and most of the agents there. Darcy, who was handcuffed to a car,
to a jeep,
got pulled inside.
So
they didn't show what happened to her, what she turned into.
Nope, they didn't show that. But the sword base was turned into a circus.
So what? No, well, who was the one who said that because she was being absorbed into a '90s environment, the handcuffs were going to turn into some pretty rad
that was me.
jewelry?
I said gel bracelets.
Gel bracelets. But like Monica and Jimmy escaped the hex expansion. So did Hayward. So did Hayward and a couple of his close people. And yeah, that was the end of the episode. It's like Westview just got bigger.
Oh yeah, and the circus is in town now.
And when going back to Pietro and Wanda, Pietro asked her how she's doing this, and she said, "I don't know." So we still don't know anything.
I'm honestly wondering if at some point in time she got a hold of that book from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was supposed to tie into Doctor Strange.
Darkhold?
Thank you. That's the one. Because, like I said before, when in Age of Ultron, they said that her powers weren't magical, or she wasn't able to make the impossible possible, the improbable probable. Yeah. It was just all like telepathic in a way. That's why she was
telepathic and telekinetic.
Yeah, and that's why she was able to mess with everybody's heads.
Yeah.
Whereas for this, now it seems like it's more mystic.
Well, we still don't know how she got this power up, but theory time. Sam, you've been holding it in.
So, Monica Rambeau went through the field.
Yes.
Some kind of molecular change happened. What if
That's a different
doing
series.
that causes her to become a mutant?
I was thinking that.
If it collapses in on itself, causing everybody in the town to become the start of the mutants. Because they would have... First, they're already in the field, so they never really passed through it to begin with. If it bursts, some kind of a wave field goes across, either there or it's on a larger scale, making mutants.
Well, they also gave themselves another excuse for how people would have started developing powers with Thanos
Doing the snap.
in on Earth in Wakanda,
Because-
and then a second snap on the Garden World.
Well, yeah, because Rocket was the one who pointed out in Endgame that when he did the snap, it released a lot of, what did he say was gamma radiation?
Something like that.
Across the planet.
Across the planet. And it was that radiation which allowed them to track it to the Garden World where they killed him. Because he had done another snap there.
To destroy the glove.
Not the glove, the stones.
Yeah.
Because he was still wearing the gauntlet.
Oh, he took the gauntlet off after he broke the stone.
No, I think he snapped. The stones were destroyed. The gauntlet was like fused to his hand.
Wasn't anymore after his arm got cut off.
Yep, but at any rate, that
So having that be like she creates mutants in that fashion.
could be.
Because I know that they are planning on bringing the X-Men in at some point in time. They've already confirmed that a Fantastic Four film is going to be happening.
Let this one be better.
Michael Fassbender as Dr. Doom.
I would actually be fine with that.
So would I.
I don't know who else I would.
John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and his wife as Susan.
Yes. Who do you then get as?
I don't know and I don't care.
I want what's his name to come back as Ben Grimm, the original
Michael Chiklis?
the guy from the
Yes,
first
Michael
one.
Chiklis.
Yes.
Michael Chiklis.
I liked him.
I liked him.
Except he feels like he'd be too old to play Ben
Old
Grimm at
now.
this point.
He could just do the voice.
CG.
Okay, do the voice. Yes.
And
It's going to be CG anyway.
It's true.
If they need to do like photos of him pre-thing, just pictures of Michael Chiklis. That's it.
There you go.
Like, just started off, they already got their powers. They do it in kind of like a flashback type thing, like, or just like in passing talk, since it's already been done twice now before.
Twice in two different ways.
Unless they decide to go
Like
with
they
an
did with
origin story
Spider-Man.
thing, and Thing talks to Professor Hulk about how do you deal with being bigger than everyone and breaking everything.
I would hope they don't do something I think they might possibly do.
What?
Well, whatever makes them mutants makes them.
Yeah, I don't want them to do that.
I don't want them to be
It's
mutants.
got to be the space radiation from
Yeah,
the
cosmic.
Yeah.
Some
Doesn't
other form of
necessarily
radiation,
have to
but
be.
not like
You
however
can fly
mutants they
fast and
introduced
loose
you.
with this universe right now.
This is true.
But then
Everything they threw everything out the window with after Endgame happened.
the problem with that is you gotta have space from space because their main bad guy is Galactus.
Though Galactus
No, their
isn't
main
in
bad
it.
guy is Doctor
Doom.
Doom.
Yes,
And all that stuff can be happened on Earth.
Okay.
Galactus is a cosmic level threat.
Yeah. He's not drawn to the planet because of the Fantastic Four.
He is drawn to the planet because Galactus hungers.
And because all those goddamn heralds keep going there for so hey, this one looks good. Damn it, not again.
Because I don't want to fight these assholes again. Fine, maybe
Maybe this time they'll actually
if
let me
they-
do it.
God damn it, there's more of them.
if they do, they need to do a live action version of that scene from the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon where Ghost Rider uses the penance stare on Galactus and weakens him like you would not believe.
Well, yeah, because of all the lives he's taken.
Yes! And yes, it was awesome. If you haven't seen it, look it up.
Yep.
I can find my DVD. I don't know where it is.
I know where mine's at.
But with the apparent revelation that Pietro here is her Pietro, just with a different face.
Possibly with different memories, too. Because it could be the original one being pulled in from another universe, taking his place, but having some, not all, the same memories.
Are we pulling a Wonder Woman 84 here?
I was about to say it.
God damn it. Oh God!
Does everybody
I really don't want that to be the case.
Does everybody see like something different? Whereas like the main characters see Evan Peters.
Except the transmission is showing Evan Peters as well.
Yeah.
So
not really in that full way. Just that it is him. But
it's more like
But
they're introducing more elements of multiverse here, even if it's not explicitly multiverse yet.
I remember there was a show where they had history in the time. Oh, I'm thinking of Flashpoint in the animated series, some of that.
The DC animated movies.
Yes, where they went back, fixed something, came back. The future was messed up. Went back, made things go back normal, and the two memories merged together into one, slowly overriding each other. That could be what was happening with this Pietro.
Well, that was what you were talking about with Bat Dad.
Yes.
Yeah, we still don't really have any answers about what's going on.
Honestly, never will get answers.
Honestly,
there's still 3 episodes left.
We're gonna get something on like the last 2 episodes.
I swear to God,
it's gonna be a 2-part finale.
And my theory in terms of who the person is who's supposed to help Monica get back in, I swear to God, it's got to be Doctor Strange.
If it is Doctor Strange, that's going to be
like amazing. He shows up, opens a portal, and does the hand...
Does the little the sling ring thing?
Yes. or it could also be Ghost Rider, because he did the exact same thing when he came back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh, I want that. I want that Ghost Rider. You think, hey, I came back. You want to look at my new trick?
Are we talking Ghost Rider or Ghost Driver?
Ghost Driver.
Okay. I can't remember the character's name.
It was the Johnny Blaze's passes the torch to this guy. I don't remember his name either.
Robbie something?
Reyes.
Robbie Reyes.
Robbie Reyes, that's what it was.
I just remember the character has the exact same last name as the Latino Blue Beetle in DC.
Yeah.
Literally the exact same last name.
I was trying not to say this.
As if it's not a common Latino name.
How would you know?
I don't know, man. I worked with a Jorge Lopez.
What the f*** are you trying to imply with that?
How would you know what the common name is for that? It's like...
Because I pay attention to shit.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious how you would know. What do you think I meant?
What were you trying to imply?
What did you think I meant by your implications?
I'm just kind of curious how would you know?
Again, I pay attention to
That's
shit.
That's why I was asking the question. God.
You racist bastard.
I know he is. God.
I wasn't talking about him.
Oh.
Zeke's wife just basically called him a racist.
But yeah,
it's been fun doing the Bingecast with you all. We're gonna get shut down now. No, no, we're not.
Last time on Bingecast, kick him out of the cast, so we gonna get the next episode.
The last episode of Bingecast.
But yeah, like I said, I feel like it could be one of those 2 characters because of the fact that both of them use essentially the same...
Like portal.
Yeah. Granted, it's 2 different ways. Doctor Strange with the sling ring, Ghost Rider with the chain.
Yeah.
Flaming chain, with chain.
Hellfire.
The chain.
Or it could be one of the other... I can't be...
It's going to be Doctor Strange.
Or
it's supposed to lead into the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
Or it could be generic scientist 101 because she's talking about how she found a material that would make a perfect cube so she can go in there without being affected.
I don't know about perfect cube, but whatever the case, there was something that was on the way from a friend of hers that was going to get her back inside. I'd find it hilarious if it is just some random scientist guy, or what if it's Coulson?
Oh my God!
But then
you haven't watched the last couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., have you?
No, I haven't. But what if it like fails and then Doctor Strange shows up? It's like, let a professional handle this.
He just
What
shows
if
up.
it's just Carol Danvers? Because they've been pushing that button a lot.
Yes, that's true.
What does she do? Show up, fly up, blow a hole into it, and say, "All right, go in."
Just like,
Well, I mean,
line it up and just punch a hole through it, shattering it, making the mutants.
I guess that would make sense considering the fact they were like, yeah, there's no one as strong as Wanda there. Well, you have
Setting up
Captain
Wanda
Marvel.
Well, no,
as the new villain for this, the
MCU.
rest of the MCU.
for Phase 4.
It would be good if she goes crazy because of Nightmare, because Nightmare has been confirmed as being like the main villain for the
I
second
want her to go
Doctor
toe
Strange.
to toe with frickin' Captain Marvel.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Cosmic versus Mystic.
And
Or
she's
whatever,
like, all right, I'm gonna
whatever
cripple
is
you.
going
Wait,
on there.
why are you not crippled?
Well, it's because they're both empowered by a by an Infinity Stone. It's like the only thing that can beat an Infinity Stone is another Infinity Stone.
Or can they?
Well, no. I mean, in Avengers, the Tesseracts.
Or can they?
I mean, technically, it could be two Infinity. Well, I mean, would Vision still be having an Infinity Stone with him?
No. Well,
We don't know exactly what's causing his
The
powers to work in
remains of the stone counts for all three of them. Because one was a blast from a stone, the other one was imbued with power from the stone, and that one gave life from a stone. And all with just trace amounts in each one of them.
What if Captain America brought it back to be put back into Vision, and he gave it to, and like it somehow ended up in the position of Sword? Because we don't know what happened when he went. Oh, granted, we saw what happened afterwards, but what happened when he went on that journey to drop all the stones back off where they left them? Because if he was just like, okay, well, the Mind Stone got ripped out of Vision's head, and want to bring Vision back
He
to
would
life.
have been in an earlier episode.
Yeah. Well, he could have been.
Mm.
Or a kid dressed up as Captain America. For this one.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
Mom, look what I found in my bag of candy!
Where did you get that?
Stone drops onto the ground.
Tesseract.
No. I'm surprised we didn't have a bunch of trick-or-treaters dressed up as like the 1970s version of the team.
Oh, she tried to keep them all generic, you've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something else. You know, there were a couple of other little like Easter egg things throughout the episode, like the movie theater in the town square,
Showing goddamn
the Incredibles and the Parent Trap,
both obviously.
both Disney properties. I did appreciate the Incredibles, being in there because it's one of my favorite Pixar movies.
And
And
we were,
superheroes.
Yes.
I remember we were trying to.
Parent Trap because of the kids.
I remember we were trying to figure. Well, you were trying to figure out what the blurred out.
There was some like poster or something behind Pietro in that scene, and it looked very much like it was supposed to be some kind of logo, but I couldn't make out what it was supposed to be because it went out of focus like almost
AIM.
immediately. No, it wasn't AIM. It was circular. It wasn't hexagonal.
Hydra.
Maybe it was a picture of Infinity Stone.
So did we figure out what was going on with the commercial this time?
Oh, the commercial the Yo Magic yogurt cups.
Magic.
The clearly stuck in the 90s commercial.
Yeah, it was like claymation.
That got dark.
It got
So
real dark because it was like
quick.
some kid trapped on a desert island, so hungry, and then this like shark,
I'm never
this
hungry.
totally radical shark, comes up
He's like,
in his
I'm not
surfboard,
hungry. I have your magic. Here you go, kid.
and the kid's like hands are shaking so much he can't open it, and then he just rots away to a skeleton. And it's just like just happened.
And then it just says, never go hungry again with yo magic. I'm like, wait, what? You're still
Yo magic! The shark drained the magic out of the guy, drained his life force. It's yo magic.
I don't know
Or
why-
maybe this is meant to be like, don't think about how these people that can't move because Wanda's not paying attention to them are staying alive. Yo magic!
I was. Is it weird that the shark gave me some heavy Street Shark vibes?
No, because I got the same vibes.
I was kind of waiting for him to go, oh yeah!
I'm fairly certain that's trademarked.
Or start talking like Jabberjaw.
No. No, shut up, no.
Wrong studio anyway.
Oh, yeah, we don't need the Hanna-Barbera universe.
Shark or something?
What?
A Capri Sun shark or something?
I don't know.
Did Capri Sun ever use a shark?
I don't think so, but I can't remember. I never drank Capri Sun when I was growing up anyway. My parents never refused to buy it.
Same.
Got too much sugar in it.
Yep, I think that's exactly why they said no.
We don't need no hyper-ass kid running around.
I was already hyper enough as it was at times. But yeah, the hex is getting bigger and sort of spells. I'm wondering how in the next episode all the new citizens of Westview are going to be incorporated.
See,
Let's see what goes on with them clowns.
wasn't it a dome at first, but then
No, it was.
We never saw what the top of it looked like.
okay, because for some reason
All we know is that the perimeter of it was shaped like a hex.
Because the entire time I kept thinking it was just a giant dome.
Same.
But
That just,
then-
dome shaped, but like 6 points to it.
But then when it like zoomed out and showed
It was just like a column.
No, what was it that we said? Incoming
Yeah,
game.
incoming game. It looked like a freaking GameCube from Reboot.
But red.
Yep. We were comparing like the people just going through the motions earlier. It's like the game is glitching or lagging.
Were
Oh no, I was like, oh, is this the part that was done by CD Projekt Red?
Ugh.
Well, nobody's junk was hanging out, so I guess not.
So, anyways,
Let's probably wrap it up, dude.
Yeah, we're at like an hour and change at this point. So, yeah, we still don't have any answers. We've got theories, but no definitive things pointing to anything.
Well, that's what keeps people watching.
Exactly.
That's the point.
3 episodes to go. Next episode will presumably be Naughties. 2000s.
oh yeah, the
I hate
90s
that
that
term.
leaked into the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So does this mean we're gonna get some really crappy movies for like 5 years?
The dark age of cinema.
Oh god.
The writer's strike.
Oh God, yeah. That is what led to reality TV suddenly exploding.
And why Firefly got canceled.
Well, Firefly got canceled
why
for a variety of reasons,
And
but
why Heroes went down the drain really, really fast.
Yep.
I didn't watch that show, so I mean I heard the same thing about Lost.
Lost. It became very clear towards the end of the 5th season and into the 6th season that they had no intention of giving any real concrete answers to everything.
Yeah.
Panda Bear.
That they were literally just making it up as they went along, despite their claims of saying, "No, we've got a plan." No,
Panda Bear is all I
I
said.
got a plan, Arthur.
This
No, you
monster.
don't.
First episode sucked you in, but then after a while you're just like, where is this going?
Yep.
They know where this is going?
They tried.
The answer to the question is they all died.
Well, on a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0.
Yeah.
But and on that cheery
On that
note,
positive
for
Cheers.
Zeke, Sam, Chris, the Peanut Gallery, I am Jay, and we'll see you next week for the children.
For the children.
Fuck the kids.
Thanks for listening to the Bored to Death Bingecast. Be sure to check out our library of past podcasts via CKCC Radio or via our YouTube channel, and give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you after our next binge.